Hello everybody. Today's video I am going to show you how to make this cool profile card hover effect. I was surfing the trending section in Codepen and I found this really nice looking profile card with this hover effect. Now credit goes to Pete for making this. Thank you for sharing your work. And I am going to go ahead and try the similar effect and see how I do. So I'm going to go ahead and open up a new pen. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a div with a container class. And within this container, so every 3 cards is going to be within this container. So, and then I'll also have a div within this container called card. Now I will also give another class to it. I'm going to say card1, and that's this card1 class is specifically going to be as a background image property in CSS. So another div I'm going to do is it's called a div, and then I'm going to give a class of border, and that specifically because let me see if I show you the final version here. So this is what I will be building. You can see this is the border I'm talking about. It is just this white border around the card. That's why that border class is going to be. And in there, it's going to be in H2, and we are going to go ahead and do first cappuccino. And after that, I will also have another div with the class of icons, because I will be font awesome icons. So let me go ahead in the CSS settings and add the font awesome link and save and close. And here what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and copy this icons from here. There we go. Make it a little bit bigger so you can see we are not doing anything with the JavaScript. So just this. So save, and you can see that I have my H2, and also I have my, let's see if I can make it a little bit bigger. I have my H2 and I have my icons. Okay, ARIA hidden is for accessibility reasons. So let's do ARIA hidden. There we go. I have searched this before. So adding ARIA hidden equals true to an element removes the element and all of its children from the accessibility tree. This can improve the experience of assistive technology users by hiding purely decorative content such as icons or images. For that reason, I added ARIA hidden equals true, and that was also added in the original that I'm trying to mimic. So these are the icons. Okay, so this is going to be one card. And then I'm gonna need 2 more cards. So I'm gonna go ahead and just copy all this from the card class, card div, and I'm gonna go ahead and paste it one more time. I'm gonna change this card1 to card2, and then Al Pacino to I'm gonna do Robert De Niro, and then I'm gonna do another, and that's gonna be card3, and that's going to be Red Cliff. Oops, that's interesting to see. Okay, so I have my 3 cards, as you can see right here, without any styling, and that's what we need as far as the HTML goes, and everything now will be through CSS. Use Sass. I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing here, just so I can nest some classes in there. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to target the container class. Okay, the container class, I'm going to do a height of 100 view height because I want everything to be in the center, and I will also have like a width of 100 view width. Okay, that is just to specify that these 3 cards should appear in the view height of the viewport that's of the screen. Okay, then I also want to well, let me show you first the display flex, and then I'm going to add the max height and width and min height and width, and why you want to do that. So right now is kind of a block element. I want to make this flex element, so it's going to be display flex, and this is the parent container, so you always add the display flex to the parent container. And you can see right now it is all in one line. So I will add another property here, justify content, and I'm going to do space around. That will add some space around each element right here, each block, each card. Okay, and I want this one also to do align items center, so it's also vertically aligned. Okay, see, it looks good so far, and you can see that if I make the screen bigger, it stretches out, and also if I make it smaller, it overlaps, kind of goes over there. Okay, now within the container, because we are using Sass, I can nest the next item here, which is going to be card. So let's go ahead and style the card right now, and for the card I'm going to use the same height and width that was used in the original. So I'm going to do height of 369 pixel, width about 300 pixel, and I'm going to go ahead and do a background just to see what we are dealing with right here. Border radius of 10 pixel. There needs to be, oh, there you go. Okay, there you go. That's what I was talking about here, is that if the screen is big enough, then it will have some space, but as long as the screen goes with certain width, then it kind of overlaps and there's no gap, and I don't want that. So for that reason, what I'm going to do is I am going to add a min width of, let's say, 1000 pixel. There you go. There you go. And this is going off screen because I am right now zoomed in. So if you look like the without zoom, and you can see that what's going on over here. I also want to use the main height because I don't want it to be squashed if I change the height of the viewport. So I got the main width and main height for that particular reason. I'm going to add a transition, and I'm going to do transition background, and I'm just going to do 0.8 second. I want to do a display of flex here and justify content. Here I'm going to do center, and line items I also want to do center. I also want to add max width of 1280 pixel, and that's because I don't want it to, like, if anybody is watching this on a like a 4K display, that's why I don't want it to be stretched out. I want to have, that's why I want to specify that it shouldn't, the width shouldn't be more than 1280. Now when I do that, I can see that all my 3 cards are stick to the kind of like a right hand side, and I can fix that using a trick called margin. And then I'm just going to say 0 for top and bottom, and then for left and right I'm going to say auto, and that is going to put everything in the dead center. So that's a trick in CSS that you can use. In the card there is a border, and that's what we're going to do. Again, I'm going to nest that, and in that border I will have first of all I want the border div to be a little less than the actual card size, because I want the border to appear right here. Same size, same everything, just a tad smaller. So I'm going to do height. Height of 359 pixels, just a 10 pixel less, and I also want to do a width of 290 pixels. So and then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do border radius, and that's going to be about 10 pixel. Okay, and add a transition. So everything to give it like a smooth effect, hover effect. I am adding the transition. Now what transition? That's going to be actually border, and we want to do 1 second. I'm going to add the hover, so I can use n:hover because we're in SAS, and then I'm going to add the border, which is going to be 1 pixel, and then solid, and then I want to do white. Okay, now let's see what happens if I hover over here. You can see there's the border. There's the border appearing. Right. It's time to add the picture. Now for that, I'm just going to go ahead, because card 1 is just under container. So that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to get out, and I'm going to just remain inside the container, and I'm going to do card 1. And the first thing I'm going to do is background, and I want to use a link, because that's the the picture link, so background URL, and that is going to be, I'm going to go ahead and copy the link. The first one is going to be for Al Pacino. So here it is. I want the shape to be in center and no repeat. Okay, that's just a default. And I also want the background size, because it's a lot zoom, you can see it. I want the background size to be 300 pixel. Let's see what it does. Perfect. It's great. Also in the card 1, I also want to add a hover, and hover is basically going to do the exact same thing as it normally does, but instead of this first center, we're going to change this to left, and then the size, I want to change this to 600 pixel. Okay, now let's see, let's save this and hover, and look at that, you see the nice so what's basically happening here is that the background is getting the size 600 pixel, and also it's, because we said it should be left, is focusing on the left side of the picture. So that's the trick to get that nice hover effect. And you can see it is because in the card we added the transition background of 0.8 seconds, and that's why it's real smooth right there. So we're going to go ahead and do the same thing with card 2 and card 3. Nice and smooth. Okay, now it's time to change this writing, and I'm going to do H2, and I want to first change the H2 to white. I also want to change the font family, and I think the original used Helvetica, so there you are. And I'm gonna give it a margin of 20 pixel. Okay, it's a little margin right there. After that, what I'm going to do is I don't want the name to appear, name to be visible at the beginning. I want the name to come in when I hover over. So that's why I'm going to go ahead and do opacity, and I'm going to do opacity 0. and you can see that name is gone right now. And then I'm also gonna add a transition because of 1 second, because I want when the name appears, I want to have it a nice transition of 1 second. Now let's go back to our card1 hover. In the same hover, I'm gonna go ahead and do h2 opacity to 1. Okay, and I have done that with the card number 1, and let's see if it works. There you go. Nice transition, and it works perfect. So I'm going to do the same thing with here h2 opacity to 1. Same thing here, h2 opacity to 1. Okay, Robert De Niro and Daniel Radcliffe. Okay, all appears. Fantastic. Now it's time to do this icons, and for that I'm going to choose icons, and I'm going to do a color of white, display of flex. Display of flex. Nothing happens because I want it on the column, so I'm going to do a flex direction column. There you go. I want this, I'm going to do a justify content space around, because I want some space around these items, but it's not working. It's not working because it is taking the least amount of space. So what I have to do is I have to give it a height of, let's say, 130 pixel. And you see now it is with the justify content, it's giving some space. Before I gave it a height, it was taking like 0 pixel. It was just taking the minimum space that is required for the content, so it was all squished together. But as long as you kind of increase the height of this div, because you remember icon is a div, and like any div, you have to give it a height and a width. So that's why I gave it 130 pixel, and it looks nice over here. I am also going to do, I'm also going to have an align items center. Now it is going on the very center. Now let's do a width of 50 pixel. Now it's right there. Okay, that's good, but I don't want the icons up at the top. I want the icons right here at the bottom. To do that, I can just have a position of absolute, so that I can absolutely position this one in the bottom corner right here. So to do that, I have to do position absolute. And if you watch my previous video about CSS part 3 positioning and display, if you haven't, the link will be down in the description. Whenever you are trying to position something absolute, if you want it to regard relative to a parent container, you have to call position relative to the parent container. Now, what is the parent container for the icons? The icons parent container is border. So I'm going to go ahead and go to border, and I'm going to give it a position of relative. Okay, now I can absolutely position this one, and I'm going to do a top of, I believe it was 226 pixel, and it is right there at the bottom where we need it. Okay, so far so good. Now obviously I'm going to have the same effect like the H2, is that first it's going to be opacity. You know what, I'm going to go ahead and do this with the icons itself. So with the icon, font awesome icon, they all have this class of FAB, font awesome. So I'm gonna just directly grab them by their class, and then I'm gonna say opacity 0. So at first it's not gonna show up, And I'm also going to do the same thing with the transition, and that's going to do the same here. 1 second, just as we did with h2 is basically this two property values that I'm adding with the fab. And I'm going to do the exact same thing just like h2. So we're going to go to the card one, and I am going here. I'm going to do fab opacity 1. Next up on the card 2, fab opacity 1. And on card 3, just under h2, fab opacity 1. I can nest this because I'm using Sass. If you're familiar with Sass, it should all make sense. Now there is, it's giving me oh, of course there shouldn't be any colon right here. Now save, and moment of truth. I think everything is done. Let's see if it works now. So if I hover over, there you go. Nice little fact. It's really cool. It's really simple to do, but you know, but the fact that it has the border and the names with the transition is just all really awesome. You can also, now it's not responsive, but you can definitely make it responsive with a media query. You can just have the media query let's just do media query max width and about 750 pixel. And let's see if for the media query I want to do, I think if I do container and flex direction here, column, let's see what it does. There you go. And we can obviously do other stuff, just like card. We can do like a margin of like 20 pixel. That gives us this. So if I just take off the height of 100 view height, you can see that right away it has the same effect, and it is all just going as it's some sort of responsive. But there you go. This is a cool trick for the hover effect. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe. I do have a complete beginner series with web development, like what is HTML, CSS, like from the very start, what is CSS, how this property value works and everything. I do have that playlist if you want to check that out. So please give it a like if you like this video, and subscribe if you are not, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching, guys. Bye bye.